Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another PlayStation review. Today I'm taking a look at Therapist Simulator on the PlayStation 4. Now this game has dropped this weekend, and as you guys know, I like to play simulator games. They can be quite fun and relaxing, and this seemed quite a unique one to me. I've never seen anything quite like this before, a Therapist Simulator. So I thought I would give this one a go. It was priced at $7.99 in the UK, so it's not what you would describe as an overpriced game or anything like that. It's certainly on the cheap side, so I thought I'd give it a go. Now, essentially, you are a therapist here, and you've got a number of clients. So essentially, you can have up to, I believe, 5 sessions per client, and the idea is that each session you try and make progress to move on to the next session. So the first session obviously will consist of them telling you what their problem is, you holding discussions with them, and it's they'll tell you what the problem is, and then you are given like 3 answers to give them. There's like one answer that's wrong, incorrect, one that's kind of indifferent, it's neither right nor wrong, and there's one that's correct. So if you get the one that's correct, you'll get 10 points. If you get the one that's not right or wrong, really, it's somewhere in the middle, you'll get 5 points. And if you get the wrong answer, you'll lose points, and you need to kind of build these points up to make this client happier, which is the ultimate aim of the game. So at the end of the sessions, they are in a much better place to kind of move on. So each session will last, well, there's like a timer at the top, and each question you've got a timer that runs down. So the longer you take to answer questions, the more time will run out and will eventually end the session, if you like, each session. So you've got to try and answer these questions correctly for a number of reasons, obviously, to try and help the client and make them happier, but also to try and extend the session, so on and so forth. Now, at the end of each session as well, you are asked the question by the client, do I need medication? And then it will give you 3 options. It'll give you a choice of 2 medications and the option of no, you don't need medication. Now, there's actually quite an extensive list of medications in the game. There's, I'd like to say, at least 10. So there's like a medication book on your table. You've basically got to go through this medication book and memorize these meds. So you've got meds for depression, you've got meds to help people focus, meds to give people more energy, meds to help people sleep, a whole array of different meds. So then you've got to try and remember, when they ask if they need meds and they give you the options, you've got to try and remember what those medications are, because you can't go and have a look at your book on the desk at that point. Which could be seen as a positive or a negative, really, because you've got to kind of memorize the medications. Essentially what I did is I took a picture of all the medication descriptions, and then when it asks if they need medication, I'll try and flick through very quickly to see which meds I've got and what their symptoms are, and see if there's anything that matches. However, one of the big issues with this game, in my opinion, is the fact that it gives you a timer, a restriction of time for you to give an answer to the client, first of all. So you've got to kind of read them quite quick, the responses you want to give your client, and try and determine which is the best option. But there's like a timer that runs down. But also you've got a timer as well on the medication at the end, whether you're choosing to give someone some medication as well. And now I personally feel that it's a bad idea having a timer in a game like this, like a Therapist Simulator, because it's forcing you to make a decision, not based on whether you're making sometimes the right choices or not. It's whether you're feeling rushed to make the right answer or not. So sometimes you don't read the questions properly, or sometimes you find yourself flitting through the medications trying to determine which is the best, but you're running out of time. And a game like this, in my mind, you shouldn't feel rushed in it. That's just my personal opinion. if they're trying to simulate being a therapist, you don't rush therapy. So by the consequence of this game, they're making you rush. Now, at the end of the day, you can go and play, oddly, blackjack to, I don't know, maybe relax. Again, seems a bit out of place in a therapy game that after each session you can go and have a little gamble in the casino. And whether you win or lose, that will affect your mental health, because you've got to balance your own mental health in this game as well. So if you're a really terrible therapist and then you go to the casino at the end of the day and you're really terrible at blackjack, then your mental health's going to collapse and then you're going to be even worse at being a therapist, really. So I think this is a very, very unique game. I'm not sure who to recommend this to. I really aren't. It's obviously a very, very relaxed game for the most part, apart from the fact that it rushes you. There's no voice acting here. It's all text based. There's some oddities here. You're earning money, but you don't get to do anything with that money other than gamble it playing blackjack. It would have been nice to maybe add some new options to maybe decorate your office or move to a better office or whatever. But there's literally nothing to do with your money other than gamble it. It just seems like a bit odd. Some of the dialogue is a bit odd as well. Sometimes it's like you'll be talking to a client and they'll be talking about their husband, and then a couple of dialogue boxes later they'll start talking about their wife. So it's odd, you know what I mean? It flips genders occasionally, and it does that in the answers as well. Somebody will be talking about their husband and then one of the answers will talk about their wife. So that could affect you choosing the right answer, because you're thinking, well, maybe that's the wrong answer, and it's testing whether you even remember the gender, and you don't really know. So it's a little bit rough around the edges, this one. I mean, you can forgive sometimes these sort of games for this sort of thing, especially when they're so low priced, but I think this needed a little bit more care and attention put into it, considering that it's trying to simulate being a therapist. I think they get some core aspects of the game wrong, especially the rushing part of it. But there's quite a lot of legs in this game. You've got quite a lot of clients to get through, and they've each got potentially 5 sessions. So if you're really into this sort of thing, this can be a game that will keep your interest going for quite some time. Me personally, I'm a little bit indifferent on it. I'm not 100% sure what to make of it. It's not a terrible game, but it's also not a good game. But I think for the price, if you're not sure, I would definitely say maybe wait for a sale. But if it's something that really interests you, then maybe take the plunge on it, because it's not exactly what I would describe as an expensive game. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you find it useful. I will of course be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.